My father tried to sell me to my uncle's family for their business merger, so I escaped to America and built my own empire. I grew up in Mumbai, where my father taught me that family honor and business legacy were the only things that mattered in this world. So even though our textile company was struggling with debts, my father spent all his energy maintaining appearances with expensive cars and lavish parties to impress potential business partners and investors. My older sisters were married off by the time they turned 20 to men our father chose based on business connections rather than compatibility or love. I watched them transform from ambitious young women into quiet wives who asked permission before speaking. My father told me constantly that I was lucky to be the son who would inherit everything. He enrolled me in the best schools and made sure I understood finance and negotiations. Before any business meeting with potential partners, he'd coach me on what to say and how to act. Sometimes the pressure was so intense, I'd lock myself in the bathroom just to breathe without someone watching and judging my every move. While my sisters were taught to be silent and obedient as their path to marriage, my life was filled with business dinners, networking events, and learning how to close deals that would benefit the family company. All my father wanted was for me to marry into a wealthy family, merge our struggling business with theirs, and save our reputation. By the time I finished university, men from competing textile families started making comments about strategic alliances and beneficial mergers. My father would show me which families to cultivate relationships with and how to seem confident and capable in a way that made them trust me with their daughter and their money. My business acumen was praised, but my actual dreams were completely ignored. But that didn't stop me from my small acts of rebellion. I started applying to MBA programs in America without telling anyone. At the family gatherings I was forced to attend, I managed to research scholarship opportunities on my phone instead of networking. I even started saving money from my allowance and small consulting jobs, hiding it in a separate account my father didn't know existed. It always made me sad, knowing I'd never get to use this education for myself, knowing sons like me were expected to sacrifice their dreams for family legacy. Until one day, when I met David. He was wearing a casual button-down shirt and jeans, genuine smile, American accent. When he walked into our company's Mumbai office for a potential partnership meeting, my father was watching me closely, so I was forced to follow the routine and act like the perfect heir. I walked up to him professionally, extended my hand for a firm handshake, and asked about his company's expansion plans in Asia. And instead of giving me the typical business pitch like every other foreign investor, he didn't even glance at my rehearsed questions. "What do you actually think about the textile industry's future?" he asked, genuinely curious about my opinion. For some reason, my guard came down. I stopped reciting my father's talking points and actually spoke like a real person with my own thoughts and analysis. That's when the strangest thing I'd ever experienced happened right before my eyes. The more authentic and insightful I sounded, the more engaged he became in the conversation. For the first time, I felt that rush of intellectual connection people always describe. He was the first business contact who actually wanted to know what I thought instead of what my father thought. After the meeting concluded, he asked if I wanted to grab coffee and continue our discussion about emerging markets and sustainability practices. I don't even know why I agreed, since my father expected me to report back immediately, but I did. And instead of pitching me another business deal or asking about my father's connections, he asked me questions about my own goals and aspirations for the future. And when no one from the office was around, he handed me his business card. Turns out, he was a venture capital partner for a major American firm. He invited me to visit San Francisco and meet with his team about a fellowship program they ran for young entrepreneurs from developing markets. For weeks, I kept watching for an opportunity to leave and explore this possibility, but it never felt like the right time to betray my family's expectations. Plus, I didn't want to abandon my mother and sisters who depended on the stability I represented. But then, one evening, my uncle was over enjoying dinner with my father and me. My father disappeared into his office and emerged with documents from our family lawyer about a formal business merger agreement. "Your cousin Priya is finishing her MBA next month," my father said. Smiling so broadly, his entire face seemed to glow with satisfaction. "The families have agreed to join our companies through your marriage." And that's when my uncle said something that made my blood run cold and changed everything forever. "Finally, my nephew, you'll fulfill your duty. Priya's already agreed." Full story on my channel and linked below.